first, thank you ever so much for SuperOps for giving us the opportunity to share some great insights, tips, tricks and strategies from the channel today. My name's Ian Luckett from the MSP Growth Hub here in Luton, helping MSPs grow. We've also got Fiona Chowes, we'll do introductions in a minute, and the amazing Stuart Gateson, who is one of our MSPs, who's actually worked with both myself and Fiona. And we're going to help you today have a bit of a no-holds-barred conversation about this whole sales thing, right? Because it's all hard, it's a bit clunky, it takes a long time, people don't understand it, it can be a little bit difficult. And this is the third of the Lifting the Lid webinar series with the great guys at SuperOps. First one we did back in last year, I think now, with my great business partner, Stuart Warwick, where we talked about strategy. Then we wheeled out Paul Green to talk about marketing, so we get your strategy all organised, marketing all organised, and got that out of the way. That was great fun with Paul. And then last but by no means least, Fiona is here today to help us. And I'm going to ask just any blunt, straight questions we've got about sales, because I know I'll get a straight answer back. And I think people are fed up with hearing all the fluff and this and that. It's a process. You need to follow it, and you will be successful in MSP sales. So without further ado, Fiona, ladies first. Not often you'll hear me say that, but let's go with it for today, just for the minute. Just give us a quick rundown. What's your name? Who you are? What you do? Who do you help?
All right, so very easy. So Fiona Chalice, and I'm an MSP sales expert, and I help MSPs with really the thing that drives them all mental, which is sales and marketing.
Fantastic. Thanks, Fiona. And Stuart, we've put Stuart completely on the spot here. He's one of the members of the Growth Hub and also part of Fiona's Sales Academy. There's no surprise the results he's getting. So we said, come on, Stuart, come on, tell the world what great work you've done. So he said, okay, and here he is today. So Stuart, give us just a quick introduction on who you are, what you do, and who you help, a little bit of context.
Yeah, so I'm Stuart Gateson, Director of IT MSP, Logical IT, and we help and assist our clients who are in the architecture, engineering, construction space.
Fantastic. Thanks, Stuart. So what we're going to do today, we're going to run for about 35, 40 minutes, something like that, maybe a little bit longer. And we're going to be, unearthing all of the myths around sales, why MSPs try and find it so hard, some of the real simple things that you need to do. And Fiona's going to tell us and teach us some of the things that she teaches her clients in the classroom. And then Stuart's going to share with us what he's actually done, so we hope it's the same thing, which we know it is, to help him increase some of the, monthly recurring revenue. He's had some amazing results. I'll let him share what he wants to share, but we'll come on to that in a minute. You invested some time this afternoon to be on this webinar, so don't waste it. The chat box is open. It's going to be open all the time, and there'll be a little bit of time for some Q&A at the end. There's also going to be a couple of links on where you can learn a little bit more about what Fiona does and a little bit more about what we do, which is really, really simple. This is not a sales webinar. This is a webinar for you. So please use the chat box. Any questions that come up while you're bubbling along, drop them in the chat box. If they're relevant at the time, I'll answer them. If they're not, we'll come and pick them up at the end and we'll go through. And if you want to come on camera, then you're more than welcome to. So please make sure that you get maximum value out of your time spent on this session here today. Fiona, talk to me about MSPs and sales. We're going to cover a lot of ground today, but throughout all of the work you've done over the years with hundreds, if not thousands of MSPs, getting them, I'm guessing, millions and millions of dollars of additional recurring revenue in sales, what's the one magic wand? If you had a magic wand that you could bash an MSP over the head with, and all of a sudden they'd be installed with this thing, what would that be?
Oh, I'd love to have a little wand like that to beat everyone over the head with. So if I had a magic formula, I'll do it that way. If I had a magic formula in order to kind of get MSPs ready for selling, I would use the ABC formula, which is really simple to remember. So A stands for activities. plan what activities you need to do in advance. So look at what is the revenue goal you're trying to achieve. Then work it backwards. So if you need to, let's say, generate an extra 500K in business, 100K in business over the year, work that backwards and then say, okay, well, how many customers would I need to win in order for me to get that revenue? Then look at your conversion rates and say, well, how many appointments would I need to get that number of customers? And therefore, how many leads would I need to generate? It's a really simple exercise, but you need to know your conversion rates to do that formula. But actually, and Stuart, I remember we were doing this with you not so long ago. When you do that formula, it's actually pretty easy, because for some MSPs, actually, they're not looking to win hundreds of customers every year. In fact, some of them are only looking to win one new customer a month. And when you see and you break the figures down and say, actually, we just need one new customer a month, it actually makes it much, much easier for you to focus on sales and marketing. So that's your A. Your B is believe in your offering, because you're not selling technology when you're an MSP. You're selling change, because you're massively helping businesses to change their entire outlook on IT. You're helping them to achieve business outcomes, and that's something I'm sure we'll talk about later as well. But believe in your offering, and when you're able to niche, like for example, Stuart has a fantastic niche with architects and engineering. When you have that niche defined, it's much, much easier for you to believe in your offering, because you could actually see the business outcomes that you're helping customers to achieve. You're able to talk about tangible business benefits rather than just technology. And that makes a big difference when it comes to believing in your offering. And the C is easy: consistency. Consistent daily sales activities. Even if it's just having 60 minutes a day where it's focused on sales activities, that will keep your sales and marketing engine running. So activities, believe and have your niche, and consistency, ABC.
That's fantastic. We did talk a little bit earlier on about the 4 Ps: preparation, planning, process, and presentations. And if anybody knows anything about the way I normally roll, either on the podcast, on the IT Experts podcast, or we normally come up with a show structure, throw it out the window, and then just chat about some stuff, which is probably going to be around what Fiona had just mentioned there. So thanks for that, Fiona. I love a nice formula, nice and simple. Stuart, just coming on to you now, and do not fear, we're not going to be throwing anybody under the bus here. When you first heard, I'm sure, the ABC formula, and you sort of thought, okay, right, a lot of MSPs, I want sales and marketing, I need loads of sales, and they get themselves really caught up in this top of funnel. I've got to get some blogs out, I've got to be on LinkedIn, I've got to do Facebook, I've got to do everything. And as Fiona says, well, how many leads do you actually want? And as we get to working with some of our larger clients, some of them actually only want 4 new clients a year. They couldn't handle anymore because they're at such a large size. What was, when you, after you kind of like joined in the program and you kind of just started understanding this formula, Stuart, first of all, what did you first think when you heard that? Did you think, really, it can't be as simple as that? What was your kind of like your thinking straight away when you started going on this journey, as it would be?
I think some of it was playing back the scenarios I'd been through in the past, and realised actually if I'd applied some of that, I might have closed those prospects at the time. But I think what started to go through my head was actually having it as obviously as a process, but trying to simplify it where I can, and trying to, particularly because of the niche that we work in, and just trying to connect within the space that they're in. Yeah. We do a lot of our connecting all through LinkedIn. So we do a lot of direct messaging as well. So we didn't want to, as I've heard you often say, not boil the ocean. So we didn't want to try and come from all different angles. We just wanted to be quite focused, and that definitely helped, because we even started to trim it down to the size of client as well, to say that size of client tends to bring in what we feel we could bring them value, but also they're valuable to us, that they're actually a right size for us, where we were in our sort of journey at the time. Yeah.
And some of the deals that you're closing right now, I mean, I haven't heard you actually close a deal probably under anything of about 75 seats for the last 6 months, because who your target market is, you know kind of how to resonate with them, and also know they've got lots of seats hanging on the back end of this. So if you go fishing in a pond where there's not many fish, guess how many fish you're going to catch. Whereas if you go and you get super specific about it, and I think the point you just made there about just break it down and just make it really, really simple, because we do, and funnily enough, we know a little bit about MSPs. They're normally very high S, high C on the DISC scale. They like technical problems. They like fixing stuff. They like going into the detail and all of this kind of stuff. This is something you don't need to go into the detail in. It's really, really keep it super, super high level. So that's good. Right. Okay. Let's so we've got our typical techie business owner, Fiona, and they as we say, they love tinkering around with the technology and getting that all ready. But we need to get sales ready. We need to get and sales, although it's what we're talking about here, people don't like being sold to. They find it, thanks to car salesmen and double glazing salesmen, they find it sleazy. They find it, oh my God, it's embarrassing. I'm not going to ask for the money and everything like that. And we've always spoken, you and I have always spoken about running the process and building an engine in the business so that people buy from you rather than you selling to them. Mm-hmm. What does the MSP have to do to get sales ready? And what does if we were to talk about a sales ready to get ready to go out there to market, what were some of the fundamentals that they'd need to do to get in the zone, as it would be?
Yeah, so that one's easy for me. So I have a great expression that I give to all MSPs I work with, which is sell them what they want, give them what they need.
Yeah.
Whereas what most MSPs do is they do it the other way around, because they want to sell the technology, but actually your customers don't want to buy technology. What they want to buy is the business results and the business outcomes of what they get once they have the technology implemented. So, as an example, Stuart, we were talking just before we started the webinar. Because Stuart has niched into engineering and architects, he's using LinkedIn as kind of a key tool. He's sending DMs on LinkedIn to get in touch with more people that he wants to have conversations with. When you're able to understand the business outcomes, like what are the key business outcomes, financial outcomes, what is everything, operational outcomes, what are they really trying to achieve in the business? When you know what your customer really wants to achieve, you're able to have more specific conversations. You're able to throw the hook out. If you're fishing, you're able to throw it out and you're going to get much more people coming back because you're talking about what they want to buy, which is business results. So my biggest tip would be sell business results, not technology.
Brilliant. Thanks for that, Fiona. So Stuart, this must have been an epiphany at some point, but at another point thinking, what on earth are you talking about here? You have been, very technical IT manager, working within the niche that you're in now. So you've got that credibility there, which is great. You already had a very successful MSP. What was going through your mind when you heard that first from either Fiona or ourselves about, I'm not going to go and sell Office 365. I've got to sell this collaboration software that's going to help people do stuff more. I'm not going to sell cybersecurity. I'm going to, how did that land with you to start with? What were you kind of feeling, and how did you approach changing? Because we had to change quite a lot of the words and the methodology in your sales decks, didn't we?
Yeah. When you hear it, it sounds really obvious. So that was the first thing that went through my head. And just saying, as I said earlier, I started playing back in my head all of those conversations I've had in the past where I thought I never heard back from that person. And it's because I wrote a 10-page proposal about virtual machines, which they probably didn't have any idea what I was going on about. So the first thing that went through my head really was us changing our process in terms of how we do when we start to talk to prospects. And we have them book a discovery call and they answer some questions.
Yeah.
But we also have questions we ask on a discovery call, which we always make sure are different to the ones they filled out to get them thinking differently about something. So usually it's, have you thought about this? What are you doing about X? And then they start to think, you can just tell that they start to think differently about what you might be able to offer as well.
And these are all related to the business outcomes rather than the actual product, services, and solutions that you're selling, aren't they?
Yeah, so I mean, like specifics would be things, cybersecurity, backups, because they might fill out the form and say they're fed up of downtime. So that's obviously one thing you can tackle, but then they haven't said anything about all these other things. So
yeah,
always trying to make them curious about what else there is.
So you're connecting on your pre-qualification, because remember the sales process, right? It's lovely to have a nice big sales funnel. It's lovely to have a full sales funnel, but you want to have a sales funnel that's full of people that you can sell to, or that want to buy from you and are qualified leads. There's no point having people rattling around your sales funnel who are going to waste your time and get to the bottom. So what Stuart's actually doing there is, with his pre-qualification, like through a Calendly link and some of those questions, he's already gathering data before the phone call so that he can talk to them about what matters. And it sounds like all of your qualification tick boxes and questions on the first contact are all business related that you then connect to your solutions. Is that right?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, there's actually really only, we try to keep it simple for them. So we put 2 questions, but they have quite a few options they can tick. But pretty much those 2 options are about what's giving you a headache right now, and then where do you want your IT to be? And then that's when we try and, on that discovery call, try and link those 2 things together.
Brilliant. And then at that first contact, as I say, you've got that little bit of information. You can then move forwards, go through your script that I know you've got about how we work out what their pain points are. Because remember that people normally only buy when they're in pain and they want to solve a particular problem. We're going to come on to the larger, the more in-depth sales process in a minute, Fiona. Anything else to add to that first part of contact, or maybe something around what type of content should people be putting out there? I know we covered this off on Paul's podcast, but what sort of content should people be putting out there to lead to this page where they sign up?
I think just to actually come back a little bit on something Stuart said there as well, which was when you're actually on that discovery call with clients, one of the key things that Stuart does there is he's asking them, have you thought about this? Have you thought about doing it that way? So I would automatically prepare a list of questions before you speak with any prospects that is going to pull out that curiosity. What you're trying to do is, we call them insight-based questions. You're trying to get them to think differently about the way they do stuff, and you're trying to link that question again back into business outcomes. So have you thought about this? Have you thought about doing it this way? That automatically gets you more of a business conversation going. But on top of that, it actually differentiates you from every other MSP. Those MSPs who haven't been through this training, some of them will go straight into selling products or selling technology as soon as they hear any business problem that the client has. So I would say do that first, have your list of questions. And then in terms of content, the best content you can create is actually business case studies. So client case studies, this is the problem they had when they came to us, a bit like what Stuart's doing on his discovery forum. This is what the problem was when they first started. This is what we implemented, and this is the change it made in their business. So as an example, we increased productivity in this architect company by 30% by implementing X, Y, Z. People want to buy business results. They want to buy the change. So if you show them what that change is, that's where you're going to get a better uptake on your content. But what they don't want to see is speeds and feeds and all different tech specs about all the different technologies you're selling. They want something that's interesting. We call it the stop the scroll. So, you need to put content out that's going to get them to stop the scroll as they're looking through LinkedIn. And that's normally business results.
And I'm also going to bring in the V word here. So many MSPs are saying, well, we all do the same. It's just a race to the bottom with the price, et cetera, et cetera. That's because you haven't educated your prospect in the value of working with you. And, when you're adding that value, and as Fiona was just talking about those case studies there now, those case studies, when they hit someone in the heart with, that was us. We had that situation. Oh my God, I don't want to be like that. I need to talk to this guy and find and learn out more. And we talk an awful lot about how you become the most valuable partner, supplier, whatever you want to call it, to those businesses, because they understand that by not having a proper cyber resilience and cyber security in place, it's going to cost them X, Y, and Z, which is going to be bigger than what you're going to charge them. So, Stuart, I know that we've, within your, talking to the architects, etc., and we've taken your sales deck through many reiterations. How do you demonstrate value that they kind of have to work with you? Because if they don't work with you, then this is the risks that they're coming up with. What's some of the things that you can share with the guys and girls today to share how you've developed that part within your business?
Yeah, sure. So one big change that came after doing Fiona's calls particularly was we try and keep it to a bit of a two-phase process, which is that discovery call, and we always make sure we present the proposal. Right. And through that, we pretty much don't talk about anything that gets technical until the end of the proposal. A lot of it is feeding back what they've talked to us about. We explain the why us. So, we particularly from my past of working in the niche as well, obviously that's quite useful for us, but actually our team has grown and not all of them have come from that niche, and we've had to explain that, that we have values within our business that we try and pass on to them as well, so they understand what they need as well. And really understanding more than just what they might need from a technical point of view. So even down to things like their liabilities, so how long they have to keep data for and things like that. So we've made it quite particular to them. And at that point, then I think that's when the sort of light bulb moment starts going. You can sort of see their face starts to change, that maybe that's not what they're getting from their existing provider.
Yeah. And it's understanding those risks as well. Do you have any situations with your clients where they have to have a certain level of technology for compliance, like, solicitors and GDPR and data? That's always a really nice one, because they have to have it to operate. You can't, if you don't have it, you're not known as a quality business. Do your particular clients have any real kind of needle moments where they need to have work for compliance of regulations or certifications or anything?
The big one, like I touched on there, was kind of liability, because particularly in their industry, their liabilities for kind of 12 years, which is much longer than a lot of other industries. So knowing what solutions to have in place that can hold that much data for that long as well.
So this is from their drawing point of view. They've finished a building, they've got the drawing, and they've got to hold that for 12 years. If something goes wrong with it, then this is just the super in-depth knowledge that Stuart's got on his clients. So what do you think happens when he goes to the next prospect and starts talking to them about, we have to keep your data for 12 years, don't you? Yeah. How do you know that? Oh, because we work with businesses like yours. Instant credibility, rapport building. You're just going to shoot up that line straight away and sort of build that relationship in. So value, I just thought I'd just drop that in just about the value, because if you demonstrate the value and you become this kind of insurance policy for them, then you can start charging more money. Then you can start charging. I'm not going to ask you, Stuart, to share with us today how much per seat. Well, this just goes into a completely different argument. But how much more 5 years ago did you think that you would be closing and charging the amount of money per seat or per device that you are today?
No.
By how much? By like 10%, 20%, 100%, 200%? Because you're closing some crazy business at the minute, aren't you?
Yeah, it's probably 50%. I'll meet you in the middle.
Yeah, go for it. It's not a negotiation. This is. But the reason for that is because it's got tighter. It's just got much tighter, much more relevant in their area. So.
I think again, though, that really highlights the whole point of having a niche as well, though, Ian. Many MSPs, when I first start to work with them, and I really request that they choose at least one, possibly maybe two niches, but I always get a lot of kickback. No, we can't niche. We cover a geographical area. We have to sell to everybody. Yeah. But the thing is, when you're doing that, you don't know where to find all those people. It's a lot harder to find them. And your prices are the same as every other local provider. Whereas what Stuart's done is he's really niched in. He's using his expertise. He's selling value. He's selling trust. He's selling business outcomes. He's not selling technology. And because of that, he's able to increase his prices so much more. It's a bit like, if you were sick and you wanted to get a professional opinion of somebody, you can go to a doctor or you can go to a specialist. the specialist is going to charge more.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just
Which
going
is
to take
what you are now, Stuart. You're a specialist.
That's right. Yeah. Look at that. It sounded like a proud mum moment there for a minute, didn't it?
I'm not a doctor.
Just want to take a quick pause for a minute. I've just got a question there from Dean. We're going to come on to that for a moment. But, you know, today's session would not be possible without SuperOps, with the guys at SuperOps with their developing platform there. And we've just got a quick poll here that if anybody wants to learn anything more, we're just going to drop this into the box about SuperOps, what they're doing, where the business is going, all the new and great exciting things they've got coming up, then just hit the obviously hit the yes box, because that's what, you know, they're here today putting on this great event, so it's fantastic for that to do. So we're going to leave that up there for a little while, even if it's just a quick chat with them about what's going on. Just hit that box there, hit that poll, and just let them know what's going on there. We'll leave that in the polls. So thanks again, you know, for SuperOps for that. So let's have a quick scroll through the questions here. We've got, so Dean, should we name the company names rather than just mention a business in that industry? And then he's got another question: what is SuperOps? I'll come on to that. Well, you can book yourself a call and you can find out all about it, can't you? There's the answer to that question. Company names. Fiona, what's your view on case studies? What should that kind of look like in terms of depth and information and I guess exposure for data and things like that?
Hi, Dean. So yeah, I mean, I would say if your client is happy for you to use the company name, it's definitely much more powerful if you can use the name. So yes, definitely mention it. I mean, I'm thinking of an MSP that we work with in Ireland, and it was funny because when we're doing the training, we use the power of stories. So we teach story selling rather than selling. So we use stories like, as an example, my building went on fire, now what? So if your business went on fire today, what would you do? Would you be able to get everything back up and running within 24 hours? And actually one of the, I think he was on the same course as you actually, Stuart, it was Peter. One of his clients' building did go on fire.
No.
Literally like 2-3 weeks later. So they did a brilliant case study, because actually he did really save that client's back. They got their business back up and running again within the same business day. They had payroll going out the same day. So he really did save his bacon. He did a brilliant case study on it, and he asked the client, would you be okay if we shared the company name? And he said, absolutely, you saved our business if you use the name.
Yeah.
And when you have a powerful story like that, you get a lot of business on the back of it. So if you can, yes, use it.
And I guess to add to that as well, if you're going to put it on your website and they don't want their name on it, then take it off. But when you're presenting or talking to people, then I'm sure that they won't mind, you know, bringing it down a level into the conversation of mentioning who the company is. But they might not want to be broadcast. They might not have let anybody know they've had a cyber breach or anything like that, might they? Good gosh.
Well, it depends on the company, but you know, thankfully this client, they were part of a bigger office premises, so it wasn't actually their fault.
Yeah.
You know, it was an accident.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Okay. Just having a quick look. Remember, guys, any questions at all, any questions that you've got about sales, do you know what, anything to do with growing a business, will help you out with everything this afternoon. Just drop them in the box and we'll put them down here. Tesoro loves SuperOps, which is great. And he's just saying switch to SuperOps. So that's fantastic. There we go. A little bit of information on there. So we've got there. Okay. So we've got a question from Zoe. What methods can you use to find out when the best time is to sell to organizations? Zoe, if you could drop a little bit more context in on that, that would be great. Do you mean
the answer to that, Ian, is actually just ask your customer. So as an example, Zoe, if you were selling to, let's say, accountants, you never contact an accountant in January or April, because it's the busiest time for their business.
Right.
Likewise, in your customer's business, there will be times when they will be super busy, even times during the day. Just ask them, what is their day? What does a typical day look like for you? What does a typical month or a typical quarter look like for you? And then select the best time to sell to them then. Typically, when I was selling, I would always make sure we did outreach. So you knew new business calls between 9 o'clock and 11 o'clock in the morning. And then you would do your account management calls between 2 o'clock and 5 o'clock in the afternoon. But again, it very much depends on your clients and what hours they work.
it's knowing your client, isn't it? And
knowing your client,
detail.
yeah.
And I have no idea what goes on with MSPs when we're on LinkedIn looking for MSPs. But Thursday afternoon, obviously, nothing goes on because we can message all week, but it's Thursday afternoon. All the replies come piling back in. It's absolutely bizarre, but that's what it is. That's what it is. So that's absolutely fine. Zoe says, thank you. That's very helpful. Great stuff. Yeah. So know your customer. We've got a last one now, and then we're gonna move on. A bit. Chris Pollard, how big is the niche market Stuart is targeting in terms of organizations? Yeah, Stuart, give us a bit of a broad overview of that.
I wish I knew that number, but so we're based in London. So at the moment we've actually kept it, I guess you could say there's two niches there. We've tried to keep it quite geographically just based in London at the moment, just while we're still growing. But and then there are obviously organisations that are outside of London that are in that niche as well. So we've tried very much to try and keep that around there. I really couldn't put a number on it, but I know that, you know, within our particular niche, there's already a list of the kind of the top 100 practices. So they're usually the ones that we're starting to target, but pretty much what, like I mentioned earlier, we use a lot of LinkedIn. So we've actually been quite successful with LinkedIn Sales Navigator and using that to pinpoint company sizes, where they are, and then just connecting with the key decision makers, really.
And when you look at, you know, what you just mentioned there about kind of like Dream 100 list, Dream 50 list, whatever it is, it's a tactic that we use quite a bit, because in actual fact, you know, so we want one client a month. Okay, so if we get 50, okay, so that's 4 years worth of clients, brilliant stuff. So if we go after those over the next couple of years, you don't need that many. And rather than going out there and kind of spraying content out and hoping people will come in, you can afford to be much more targeted by getting those lists. And data, you can get data from anywhere now. You know, just go onto Companies House, it gives you a list of all the architects in London or the architects in Hertfordshire, wherever you might be, and then you can get into it from that side of that point of view. So yeah, I wonder whether you knew that question, Stuart, but you're doing all right out of London at the minute, so we're doing okay. And as we always say, there's always plenty to be going around. You know, when people think, oh, I'm in that niche as well, or I'm in that area as well, there's always plenty to be going around. I'm going to jump onto the questions in a minute. James, I'm going to come on to you in one moment because I'm dying to answer your question. Let's just talk about process to start with. At the minute, and this is really boring, and it's like, oh my god, yawn. Yes, we've seen all this kind of the kind of before. The thing that I'm really taking away from this webinar so far is just like, be simple, guys. Be really super simple. You know, ABC at the beginning. Strip all your decks back so you've got something really, really tidy. You know, Fiona, in terms of a sales process, and we've got here, you know, James has got a little bit of a comment about things are going a little bit stagnant. You know, how can we use that sales process to reignite a bit of energy and reignite some passion into the sales? Because it can get quite lonely running an MSP, but it can actually get quite stagnant, can't it, sometimes when things start to dry up a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, really, this is where you need to create your sales funnels. So, you know, really what you should have is literally a funnel that's in your business. Yeah. You need to have more leads coming in top of funnel, and then use your sales and marketing process to pull them through the funnel to turn them into clients. So the process is actually really, really simple. Generate your leads in, then take them through to a discovery call. Then those who qualify on the discovery call, take them through to a sales meeting. Those who do then have money to spend with you in the sales meeting, that's when you would then go through to we call it the second sales meeting, which is where you would put together the proposal and you would come back and present your plans. Again, what Stuart said earlier, we don't email proposals, we present them and we present the business outcomes. And then you go on to the close and you're onto your onboarding, then you're into growing the client after that. So it's having that kind of process that you're pulling them through. The biggest challenge on all of that process for all MSPs I work with is the very top part, which is what James's questions is about as well. Top of funnel is generally always the biggest problem.
What do we do? How do we get interest? What you know, what's some of the things? Do you know what? And while we're on that point, Fiona, you know, number one, James, well done. He's hit the VAT registered period. So that is, you've got further than an awful lot of MSPs that are out there. So congratulations on that. What's your tips and advice for James to start getting a little bit of interest at the top of the funnel?
Yeah. So James, are you doing any marketing at all? Or are you doing anything on socials, or have you got a niche that you're working with is the question I'd ask first of all. So if you just want to put that in the chat box for me. The second thing I would say is if you're in a situation as an MSP, which many are, where you've just been relying on referrals and your business has grown organically, and you reach that point where you're like, I think we need to do something different here to start bringing new clients in. The easiest way to do that is go through all of your existing clients, look at what niche or what vertical they are in, look at the results that you've got for those clients, and then look at which ones were profitable for your business. Then use those existing clients to go out and get more of those type of clients in your marketing and in all of your content creation. The sooner you have an example of a business case or a testimonial of somebody you've already helped in that vertical or niche, the easier it is that it's going to get you into more customers like that. You will have, when you go through your client base, even if you've only got 15 to 20 clients, James, you'll see there's a pattern. You might have 2 or 3 of them who are in legal, 2 or 3 of them who are in finance. Then target those ones first because they're easier for you to go after and get. And then your messaging and your content and marketing should be coming back to business outcomes. So I would suggest, James, that you create what we call a business outcome storyboard. So think of those existing clients that you're already working with and ask them 4 questions. What are the key business outcomes that you're trying to achieve? So think of the 3 dials in your car. There's 3 business outcomes that every customer wants that's going to keep their business running really smoothly. What are those top 3 business outcomes? Then ask them, what are your top 3 financial outcomes? Then ask, what are the 3 big business capabilities or business processes that you're trying to improve or make better in your business? And the last one is, what are the key KPIs you're trying to achieve in your business? Once they have helped you fill out that business outcome storyboard, that's what you know what customers want to achieve. So then that's what you start to sell. Sell what customers want and give them what they need, which is the technology behind it. But all of your messaging for your socials, don't be talking about cybersecurity or 365 or anything else. Talk about all the business outcomes that your client has given you in that storyboard and start to sell what customers want. Then you'll start to get more people booking discovery calls like Stuart.
Fantastic. Stuart, have you got anything to add to what Fiona's just mentioned there when you were starting on your journey about that, that storyboard and how that was kind of worked out in your business?
I think there was actually 2 things I was going to add. So one was the first bit that's kind of linked to that really was language across our sort of website proposal and even the presentation as well. So that was something that was a bit disjointed. So when we got to that phase as well, and actually even going all the way to if we did write blogs and things like that, the languages there was very similar to what we talked about across the board. So that's something we changed, which I think definitely helped.
Yeah.
And then something is maybe slightly off topic, but in terms of one of the things, and I heard it from a lot of MSPs as well since working with you as well, Ian, that people are always worried about, saying how much they charge and things like that. So on the discovery call, in terms of building that pipeline with good quality kind of prospects, was being able to actually price condition people and say, approximately your size, it would usually be around this kind of price. And then we judge their reaction there and whether they want to go on to a second call as well. And that's definitely saved some time compared to the past.
Yeah, I mean, you can imagine going all the way down the bottom of the sales funnel and then going, oh, I didn't realize it was going to be that much money. Oh, crikey. Oh, no, I can't afford that. Get them out. Look for the nose. Look for the nose. Keep your sales pipeline as clean as you possibly can. And just to add something that Fiona just responded to James in about those, 4 key outcomes. You've got your storyboard, what it is that they're coming up with. You may or may not like this, but if you went out and you just came up with a really small little talk or a speech or a little presentation at your local Chamber of Commerce or your local networking meeting or Architects Journal or whoever it might be about that issue, no one else is doing that. And that's when you're going to stand out from your competition. And that's where you're going to stand out as being the technical expert that helps these type of businesses. But you've already done it. You've already explained what the business outcome is, because it's in your sales process. So just go and tell people that on socials, and that is where you're then gonna, start to build up. And it's all right, by the way, if you post something one week and then you post it the next week, you're not going to get a whole load of people complaining that they saw it twice. You can probably run a month's worth of content for 6 or 7 or 8 months and no one would even notice. They might even go, oh, I saw that last month, I think I need to contact them now. So you've got all this information in your head, you've got all these ideas in your head, just bring them to life in these amazing social channels that we've got, and just listen back to the recording. There's going to be a recording coming out of this session, so you can listen back to it again, because I know we have fire hosed you. But great, James, you're on a call like this, you've asked a great question, a little bit of free consultancy there for you. That's absolutely fine, it's all part of the service, but no, good luck, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one where you're saying, I've just hit my first 100k. So that's great news. Look, we're just looking at pushing the clock now. So before we come in to the last question, we've talked a lot about growing businesses today. Fiona's given us loads of her great information. I'm just going to literally drop in the group there a couple of things that Fiona and I just want to offer, which is, if you're interested in scaling and growing your MSP, but you don't know where to start, at the Growth Hub, we have a quiz that you can just quickly take the quiz and you can work out how scalable your business is right now. You get a free report. It's nice and personalized, gives you loads of information there. And Fiona is a powerhouse and a massive giver in the channel. If this is the first time you've seen her, then I'm absolutely surprised, because she's an amazing individual. And if you want some results like Stuart and the confidence that he's got now talking about sales, you can check out Fiona's work at the link we've dropped in the box there, Sales Mastery online course. So that's where Fiona's giving away all her information and help and advice for you guys on there as well. So just before we bring this one into land, Fiona's real high level things, and then I'm going to come to you, Stuart, for what's the biggest learning, what's the biggest thing, what we've seen in the chat box today, what's the one thing that people need to be really doing. Fiona, what's the absolute shoulds and the absolute shouldn'ts, whether it be 1, 2, or 3, that MSPs need to be doing as they come off this call, going into a credit crunch, whatever you want to call it, the environment that we're in now post-pandemic, to help them get their success in their MSP?
So I'd say the absolute must that every MSP needs to be able to do is to answer these 3 questions with complete clarity and conviction. And those 3 questions are: why do clients buy from us? Why do clients pay us more than any other MSP? And lastly, how do we differentiate? So when you're able to answer those 3 questions with complete clarity and conviction and confidence, you've already got your sales pitch ready.
Excellent. Those 3 questions. We've just had a message in here. Haven't seen the link. I've just, for some reason, it's only letting me go the host to the panelist. I've just asked Serum if he can just drop that in to the group, so you guys have got those links there. I think.
I'll see if I can do it as well.
Yeah, I don't know how it's only.
It's only letting us send to host and panelists, so you need to be able to send it out to everybody.
Yes. Getting the links.
He's just doing that. Right. Okay. Let's rewind a couple of things. So. What was the first question?
Can I give those 3 questions again?
No, let me. Right, Fiona, get your questions ready. You don't see the links; they're on their way. Can I get the other webinars? Yes, I'm sure that Serum will be able to send you all 3 of the webinars as well, which will give you a really good. Oh, that's all coming in now. This is like doing a tote at the horses now. Fiona, hit me with those 3 questions again. Right, everyone, you listening? Go.
So, why clients buy from us? Why clients pay us more than any other MSP, and how do we differentiate? You must be able to answer those 3 questions with complete clarity and conviction. And
belief that you know what it is that the service that you're providing. Excellent.
And the reason you want to ask that second question, exactly what Stuart said earlier, you're asking the second question of why do clients pay us more than any other MSP, because you're already telling them in advance that you're not the cheapest MSP.
Excellent. Right, Stuart, trying to maintain focus, but we've got a chat box going crazy over here. What's the big takeaways here for the MSPs, for techie talking techie, come great strategic sales leader, I'm going to call you now. What do people need to take away from today and action, Stuart?
I didn't want to summarize it to one word, but one that always comes to mind is just consistency. So even from our marketing as well, having that kind of content planner and being consistent. If we say we're going to post something on a Tuesday or a Thursday, we make sure we do.
Yeah.
And then in terms of consistency, that just flows all the way through. As I said, we have a 2-step with our kind of discovery call and proposal presentation. And there's been times where there's some people tried to skew us away from that. And then I try and steer them back because we want to keep it into the way that we're used to, presenting to them, but also just trying to keep it consistent, because otherwise you're not going to kind of end up to the goal that you want to get to.
Absolutely. And, from a consistency point of view, people are not going to ring you up and say, hey, I saw that blog about X, Y, and Z the other day, if the blog doesn't exist. And they're not going to ring you up and say, hey, I saw this message you gave me out on LinkedIn, if you're not consistent with that. And I think that's absolutely true and absolutely consistent. Siren,
Ian, can we just check with Shreyan that he's got that he's sending the links out?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why that's not letting us. Here's the link. See, that's
going to go into hosts and panelists again for some reason.
Yeah, the link should now be available on chat. Yeah.
We can see it, Shreyan. We can see the link to the YouTube webinars. We can't see the link to Ian's test and my course.
Got it. Yeah, I think.
So I've just sent it again to you in the chat box. That's the links that the others are looking for.
A bit of technology.
Yes, I'll just put that out. Yeah. No.
We might better run some pretty good businesses, and while we're just waiting for this to come forward, but operating, there we go, operating links. So we just got the links in there again to the Scale Your MSP quiz, and also Fiona's online course. So I'm just going to scale quickly just to make sure we haven't forgotten anything. Links to the webinars, please. Yes, so we've got the links to the. Right, that's gone to the guys for the YouTube, which is fantastic. Dean, great questions. Well done in where you are, and also your the question as well, making sure we haven't picked up any other questions. If you have last orders for the questions, if not, that leaves me just to say thanks ever so much for attending today. Thank you for your great questions. Thank you, Stuart, for being open, honest, and vulnerable. Always like to push that little bit harder and sharing with everybody today what you've achieved, which is truly amazing, and it's great to inspire other MSPs as well and get them on their journey too. And Fiona, as always, been an absolute pleasure. It's been great fun. Thank you for your insight and wisdoms as usual. And I think we just got, that's about it. No other questions. That is what they call a wrap. So thanks, Siren. Thanks for the guys at SuperOps, and enjoy the rest of your day. You take care of yourselves.
Thank you, everyone.
Go and sell some stuff. See you all now. Bye.